Robert. So I'll help you welcome Robert Sarai. Have 5 principles to...
Five attributes to self-discipline.
Self-discipline. Thank you.
Toastmaster. Distinguished Toastmaster.
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now we've begun. So what I'm here to speak about is the 5 attributes in self-discipline. And the fact is that we all have a destination in life and where we want to go. In other words, we have a vision. So to get from point A to point B, we need to have self-discipline. Okay. And when you take that with you, when you take that self-discipline with you, and you, in addition, have those 5 attributes, I can assure you that you're going to reach A to B much sooner with more confidence and success. Okay. Now, the way it works is that, how can we remember the 5 attributes? Well, it's really an easy exercise, and what I'd like everyone to do actually is to grab their hand and stick it right in front of them. And let's stretch your fingers out. Great. Okay. These are your 5 attributes. Now, we begin with the thumb. Right? Begin with the thumb. What does the thumb represent? Well, actually, it's something that's really flexible, right? Your thumb is flexible. It almost could go in every direction. So what does your thumb represent? It actually represents your awareness, which is the first attribute of self-discipline. Okay? We have to be aware of our lives. We have to be aware of the directions that we go in different aspects of our lives. Because when you're conscious about, your reality, you actually acknowledge your reality. And that's a very important aspect. So you want to be aware. You want to be aware of your present. You want to be aware of your future. In addition, you want to be aware of the choices that you've made in the past. Okay? And that represents awareness. Now the second attribute is our index finger, which is obviously a very useful finger, right? You could point something out with your index finger. You could dip it in a bowl of pudding. Some people actually like to even pick their nose with it. But it's more useful than that. It's actually what's referred to as your willpower. Okay? And the goal of willpower, which is the second attribute of self-discipline, is what's going to push you out of your comfort zone. Okay, we need to have willpower to take ourselves from a feeling of comfort to discomfort. Why? Because that's what creates the momentum to get to where you are and to where you want to be. For example, we all have bad habits, right? So it's really our willpower that's going to distance ourselves from those habits to create the more productive habits. In addition, it's okay to be uncomfortable. Okay? Successful people have a secret. And what is the secret? Is that they understand that the actions that they take are really uncomfortable for them. But what creates the comfort is the end result and what they've achieved. So when you have willpower, the whole purpose is to gain that end result, even though you have to be comfortable, but at the same time having the awareness that it's okay to step out of your uncomfort zone. Now, the third attribute is the middle finger, right? And it is the most controversial, and it also could be the most offensive, so I don't want to see anyone walking around sticking their middle fingers all over on the street. The middle finger represents hard work, and that's why it's really controversial, because it's really hard work that separates us from more extraordinary people. It's really the hard work that they put into it that makes the ultimate difference. And the difference is that they challenge themselves. So when you use and utilize hard work and you're aware of that particular attribute, you actually would be aware that you're putting yourself to another you're taking yourself to another level, and you're creating a challenge. And what that does is that actually produces the launch from point A to point B. That is what's going to boost you to your destination. Okay? And what the success people do with it is they do the opposite. That's what hard work is all about, because sometimes we feel like we don't want to do something, or something is too hard to do, or we want to wake up early and go to the gym, and what we do, even though that's hard work, what we have to do is we have to perceive that as the opposite. Okay, we have to do the opposite of what we want or what we feel. Now, the next finger, obviously, is the ring finger, right? And what that signifies is an investment. Obviously, a lot of people associate your ring finger with a ring, and a marriage is an investment, and supposedly the ring defines something that's eternal, or that something goes on forever, right? But in terms of investment, which is the fourth attribute, it's the time that you invest in. And you can't get that confused, because time is not eternal. Okay, we all have a countdown in our lives. We all are going against the clock. So don't get confused with something being eternal, okay? Because when you invest your time properly, it actually gets you from where you are to where you want to be much sooner. Okay, when you schedule or when you prioritize what needs to get done, that takes you to your destination in a much sooner way. And finally, we have the pinky finger, right? Which is the most delicate and the most fragile. Anything could happen to the pinky finger, right? So what that represents is the actual fifth and last pillar or attribute, persistence. And all persistence is the combination of determination and perseverance. You know, when you have the consistency to move forward, you cannot feel like you're going to quit. You have to have the persistency to move on. And that actually is what creates the progress that you want in your life. A lot of people make decisions subjectively. And when you feel like you want to do something on a subjective level, that is what's something that actually will stop you from moving forward. So it's always a good idea to be objective. When you want to be persistent at something, for example, learning how to play the piano, you want to be persistent. So what you do is you think of it objectively. You think of it as an end result and what new skill you achieve. Now, how can we remember all 5 of our attributes in our daily lives? Is to wake up in your morning hours, and all you got to do to get a step ahead is to stick your hand out and look at the 5 attributes every morning right when you get out of bed, and that will take you a step closer to where you are now and to where you want to be. And thank you very much. Toastmaster.